You're not doing it right if you're trying to gain endurance on trumpet or any brass instrument. Hi, my name is Kurt Thompson, Trumpetsizzle.com. Go ahead and give this video a like right now. Go ahead and just smash that like button. And if you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe. The reason you would want to do that is there are a ton of videos, over 2,000. Most of them have something of value that will help you get better on your brass instrument. So what possibly could you be doing wrong? Stay tuned to the end of this video. I'm going to tell you. It's not going to be a long video. Years ago, in fact, so many years ago, back when I was in college, and I think actually right before I got out of college, before I was going up to Kings Island to do the Broadway shows and some other stuff, I had the idea of developing blue steel superhuman Superman endurance and strength. And the idea that I had, since I'd already gone through all Arben's characteristic etudes at the back of the Arben's book, there's 14 of them, and at that point I had gone through all of them, pretty much almost mastered them. I would say like 99% tempo, dynamics, everything, articulation. I was actually rocking pretty good back then when it came to this legit kind of stuff. I thought to myself, to develop amazing endurance, unstoppable endurance, what if I could start at number 1 and go all the way to etude 14. Etude 14 ends on the chromatic one, super duper fast. So I thought to myself, what if I could start off one and go non-stop, one after the other after the other, I don't care how long it takes. Wouldn't I develop chops of steel, amazing endurance strength? I mean, play all day chops. That's logical, right? What I didn't know then that I know now is that endurance and range are an illogical pursuit. That means what makes sense actually doesn't turn into or result in range or endurance. I proceeded to do 1 and 2. A couple days later, I went 1, 2, and 3. And then after a week, I was able to get up to 5. And then I started noticing something. I started noticing my tone getting worse, more airy. I started noticing my range going down. And by the time I got to etude 6, which is that one that starts on F, B, that one. Well, I couldn't even get through half of it, and my chops were on fire, burning, lactic acid. I felt like I was playing on the skin of my teeth. My endurance went out the window. And I was like, what is going on here? So I took a break. And then I took a break and I restarted all again. And the second time was worse. I didn't make it to 6. I finally threw my hands up in the air and thought, well, I guess I'm just not strong enough. I guess I'm just not going to be able to do it. What I didn't know then is that when you overdo something on trumpet, because you're using such a small muscle group, let's face it, you're not using your arms, which is big, or your shoulders, or your pecs, or your lats, or your legs. The musculature up here is so small, so delicate, you can't treat it like you're running a marathon or you're doing heavy squats in a gym or doing push-ups. It doesn't work that way with your face. What I learned is that by trying to build endurance that way, by constantly going and going and going without taking a break, I was actually having the opposite effect. I was actually making my endurance worse. And it spilled over to my range. And man, you know me, I'm all about range. And when my range started dropping, I mean, I was using so much mouthpiece pressure to get what was my existing range at the time. And then even after that, the range dropped. I started panicking. Like, it can't be my practicing of the etudes, could it? Couldn't be. Because this is legit stuff. I mean, come on. This is what really makes you strong. I had it all backwards. I had it all wrong. I also didn't know that the pursuit of range and endurance was illogical. There's a lot of things about being able to play higher and be able to play longer that just don't add up. 2 plus 2 doesn't equal 4 when it comes to gaining range and endurance. So you would think logically, you just play more and you practice more and you'll be able to play more in a performance or at a rehearsal, right? That's logical. Well, there's some logic to it, but there's a twist that you have to put in, and that is you have to have plenty of breaks. So yes, there is something too. If you want to do a 2-hour performance, you certainly should be practicing at least 2 hours a day. In fact, I would recommend 50% more. If I have to do a 2-hour performance, I'd like to be practicing 3 hours a day. The catch is you can't do it all at once with no break. You have to put in tons of break. Knowing what I know now, many, many years later, here's how I would approach this. If someone had the idea to be able to play all 14 characteristic etudes from Arben's in a day to build up super duper endurance, what I suggest would be this. that you would play through one or maybe half of one and take a 5 or 10 minute break. And a break means you're not wasting time. You could do some homework, read up on a chapter, uh, check emails, whatever. So you're not wasting time, but then you come back and then you go to the next one. Then you take another 10-minute break. So that way you're spreading the 14 etudes all throughout the day, and you would build up to it. You wouldn't do it all in one day to begin with. You would do the one and get comfortable. Then you would add a half, like etude 2, get comfortable, and then you would add the rest of etude 2. You follow me? And you would keep doing that manner all the way until you got to 14. So that what would happen is you would be spreading all these etudes out through an entire day. Maybe you would start in the morning, and by 9 or 10 o'clock at night, you would be finishing up with etude 14. That is how I would do it if I had to do it all over again. If I could tell my younger self, hey, you're not going to make it this way. In fact, you're going to get worse. Here's how you need to do it. I wish I could have gone back in time and told my younger self how to do it correctly. I didn't know it. And there was no high note teacher back then. I'm all self-taught when it comes to what you see now. Range, endurance, and also the world record holder for the highest note on trumpet, which is a quadruple C. I'm self-taught. No, there was no high note teacher that was able to tell me how to gain range and how to gain endurance. I had to do that part on my own. Anyway, I hope this really helped you out. In case maybe you are trying to do this, maybe I'm saving you right now. If you're whether it's this or maybe you're practicing something else, and maybe you're saying to yourself, I know, I'm just going to go through all these lead trumpet charts one after another for 2 hours straight. And I'm just going to keep doing that until I just build up massive amounts of endurance. My friend, you're actually going to make yourself worse, and you're going to find your range go down, but some other bad things too. Your accuracy is going to go out the window, and it's going to feel like you're playing right on the skin of your teeth, and you're just going to sound horrible. That's what's going to happen to you if you don't heed my advice. This is Kurt Thompson. This was a good trumpet lesson for everybody involved, but you can apply it even if you play trombone, even if you play French horn. This is not just for trumpet. It applies to all the brass instruments. It really does. I mean, all of us are using this tiny musculature here. Remember, the biggest muscles are our shoulders, our pecs, our back. I already named them already. Our glutes, our quads, everything. But the muscles here in the face are so small, they're so delicate, they can't handle what you normally would think that our muscles could handle, like the rest of your body. So this is my trumpet lesson to you and my brass lesson to everybody else who doesn't play trumpet. Kurt Thompson. If you like this kind of information, I would go ahead and subscribe. If you really want to be a go-getter and take your game to like the highest level, you need to go to Trumpetsizzle.com and get involved in my live weekly 16-week upper register course. I'll see you in the next one.